Let's talk about the recent Manchester bombing. We now have this pervasive threat of terrorism, and this is the latest instance. Now, in the aftermath of something like this, we hear the predictable things. We hear that the bomber was just evil, right? And the implication being that evil people will do evil things anyway. They don't need religion to do that. Or we will hear that they're insane, which is often assumed in this context. And again, that takes the onus off of Islam entirely. And then we have people saying things like, this person no more represented Islam than Anders Breivik represented Christianity, say. What do you do with that?
I think this falls in line with a broader problem with the way that we in the West look at Islam, which is that I think Western Christians and just Western religions as a whole have sort of moved away from the ideological, foundations of their faith. And there are many people who are born into those understandings, and they cannot put themselves in the shoes of somebody who is a true believer. So to the extent that it represents that terrorists are evil people, I think this is something that makes conversation so difficult, because I know for a fact that conservative Muslims and religious Muslims truly believe that what they're doing is good for the world, is good for their children. I mean, there's this idea that if a Muslim, if a Muslim father forces his daughter to cover up, beats her if he finds that she is dating somebody, secretly, there's this idea that he is a bad father, that he is a bad man. But from a religious context, he isn't. Not necessarily. This could be somebody who really wants what's best for their child, and who sincerely believes that if his female child was to lose her virginity, that she would be doomed into something that is doomed into an eternity of suffering. And of course, you don't want that as a father for your child. So even good people are, of course, pushed into doing what we would call evil things. So I think this is such a facile understanding of what religious conservatism looks like. And I think a lot of that applies to extremism as well. I don't think that it's fair to call them evil, evil as evil in an abstract sense, because certainly they think they're doing a good for the world, and certainly from the way that that they understand the reality of the universe, they believe that they are doing something good. They believe that they are part of a grander arc that will bring the world to an image closer to what God desires. The more concerning thing, I think, for me, when we start to look at just extremism and then closely related, just fundamentalism or conservatism as something that is evil, we damn the vast majority of Muslims. So if we consider the idea that apostates should be killed, and anyone who holds it to be evil, if we think of the idea that homosexuals should be persecuted as something that is held only by evil people, then we are saying by extension that the vast majority of the Muslim world is filled with evil people.
The view that people leaving the Islamic faith and speaking poorly about it should be killed is not simply the view of evil people. The view that homosexuals should be persecuted is not only held by those that are evil. Claiming that this is the case serves to try and separate Islam from the equation entirely. The people who hold these views may do evil things, but the reason for committing these acts is not because they are evil. The commission of these terrorist acts is directly linked to their religious beliefs, and that is the conversation that must continue. Islam cannot be taken out of the conversation when it comes to why these beliefs are held and why these acts are committed. Providing the excuse that suicide bombings are only carried out by those who are evil or crazy only serves those that wish to deflect problems with the Islamic doctrine as understood by so many conservative and fundamental followers. For those that continue to say that those conducting these terrorist acts are not following true Islam, you don't have to convince me. I think all of Islam is problematic. Convince the so-called Islamic State and their restored caliphate, or Al-Qaeda, who rejects the caliphate. But you'll have to include an explanation as to why they continue to have any popularity or credibility at all. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe. If you liked the video, be sure to leave a comment and hit that like button. If you didn't like it, please explain why. Open discussion is the only way to have a better understanding of differing views. Sharing this video on social media can help keep conversations alive. Now, here are a few other videos that you may be interested in.